It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on SABC3. Now, here's something to think about. Did you know that the types of attachments you create in your adult relationships and how secure you feel in them has a direct link to the way that you were nurtured and given care as a child? Now, this fascinating theory was developed by John Bowlby in the 1950s and is used in modern psychology for work in relationships.
And as you know, it's Monday, so we're talking relationships. And as we explore attachment theory today, we're asking, what is your attachment style in relationships? Because I think every one of us has one.
Yes,
a style
definitely.
of attachment. And therapist, speaker and trainer Asha Dullabh is here today to help us unpack this and discuss it. And we're talking to you and engaging with you and taking your questions and comments via our Facebook page and our studio line. That number is 021 110 552. So please do connect with us. Asha, good morning.
Good morning.
Let's start here. What on earth is attachment theory? What is it all about? And why is it critical to sort of define and understand and tap into your own attachment style?
All right, so I think the best way to explain attachment theory, it's like the cradle to the grave theory, because it really starts at looking at the bond that an infant has with their caregiver, their primary caregiver, which is usually the parent. And for a long time, the theory was about looking at this relationship, and then soon after that, researchers decided that, hey, but this can actually extend to adult relationships, because what they were seeing in the bond between child and parent, they were also seeing playing out in adult relationships. And it's one of the best, most practical toolkits that one can use to understand the way you connect with your partner, the way you actually engage, the way you attract the partner that you attract into your life, and also the way we end relationships. It also plays a role in that as well.
It makes so much sense.
Yes.
When you unpack it, when you start to sort of break it down, it makes so much sense.
It truly does. And can you please explain the 4 different types of attachment styles?
Sure. So we've got the secure attachment style, and then we've got the 3 others that fall into the insecure attachment style. So the one is secure, and the other ones are the anxious type, the avoidant type, and then you get the fearful type, which is a combination of the anxious and the avoidant. So just to give you a little brief, quick understanding of these attachment styles, the secure attachment style is one that really comes from a family where they felt nurtured, they felt protected, they felt safe growing up. There was a level of comfort. These kind of young children grow up to feel quite comfortable depending on other people and having others depend on them. And then we look at the anxious style. These are individuals that grew up in very inconsistent homes. So, you know, at one point the mom or the primary caregiver, it could be anyone, was available when the child hurt their toe. And then maybe 3 months later, when the child needed the mom or the caregiver, the mom was probably on the phone, you know, attending to a task and couldn't respond to the child immediately. And in that moment, the child grows up feeling a bit anxious. And they can become quite hypervigilant, which then extends to their relationships in adulthood when they are phoning their partner a few times a day, checking where they are. And, yeah, it's...
It really does sound like all of these attachment styles stem from sort of learned experiences or from experiences that we've had in our lives growing up. And so consistency of those experiences and that treatment and that behavior coming through manifests itself in the way that we then react to situations, react to people, react emotionally in adulthood. Is it possible, though, Asha, for one person to present with more than one attachment style? So be secure for the large part or the most part, but also do display elements of the other 3.
Absolutely. I think, yes, we can have a mixed bag of attachment styles, and that is why it's so important to become aware of where are you, what are you, what is your preference? And you're quite right in that it's not about, like last week we spoke about personality types. These are definitely styles which become learned behaviors, which become habits in the way we react and respond to our partners. And when we become aware of these habits, we're better able to to manage our relationships and work towards healthier relationships.
Wow.
On that note, Asha, please just briefly explain the last two, the dismissive avoidant and fearful avoidant, before we get into our responses from social media.
Sure. So we described the anxious one. So the avoidant one, these are kids that sort of grew up in homes where there was actually no comfort.
Okay.
And these kids sort of grew up with scripts where, you know, where you get some parents saying boys don't cry. And sometimes there's this tendency not to overly comfort your child in the fear that maybe your child will not be independent. And with this specific type, you know, very often these people are viewed as ultra-independent. And this is actually a character flaw because they're actually not independent. They don't have the level of autonomy. So they may come across as independent, but they're actually not. So these are people that would want to avoid getting too close. You know, they are ones that will say, I'm quite comfortable being alone. But they're actually craving intimacy, but yet they're fearing it as well.
Yeah.
And quickly, the last one,
Yes,
the
please.
fearful.
Please keep going. Please keep
The
going.
fearful is the combination of the two, of the avoidant and the anxious, which comes from chaos. A child that really grows up in a home where there's chaos, there's abuse, there's maybe alcoholic caregiver, and that's a very unpredictable, insecure attachment.
I can think of so many instances, so many times growing up where I have had a parent, or, you know, with their child crying, saying, "No, leave him there. He'll cry until he sorts himself out. He'll keep quiet
Yeah,
eventually."
exactly.
But you don't realize as a parent that that actually does feed into how the child then responds to when they're not feeling okay and they're not wanting to, you know, when they're wanting attention, and how they get attention and what reaction and response they want to get from other people.
Yeah. So we asked you on our social media pages, you know, which attachment style do you fall under, rather, out of the four that Asha just explained to us? And we have received some responses. We're going to start off with Nick Lombard, who says, morning, #Expresso morning show legends. Awesome pink dress, rocking it again today. I'm a very secure in relationships, steady like a rock. Okay.
Love to hear it.
Love
to hear it.
that,
That's good,
love that.
Nick.
Oh, he's commenting on Jamie's pink dress.
dress there.
Absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
I love that
Okay.
dress as well.
So that's good. Do we have another comment?
Yes, we do. This one comes from Belinda. She says, Expresso show, good morning, secure, handshake,
handshake.
done deal. That's what she believes. And I think many of us are easy to gravitate towards that because it's very difficult to interrogate those other three and actually accept that, okay, maybe I am anxious, or maybe I am kind of repellent to my partner, or maybe I don't like engaging in this kind of way or in that kind of way.
Yeah.
We all want to feel that sense of security. But now that you've explained the other four, I think everyone can pick out which ones they fall under.
And it sounds like, and you tell me, please, Asha, is it a job of honesty, of just being honest with yourself when you dig deep into your real style? Because, of course, the secure style of attachment sounds like the more positive sort of alignment. And anybody wants to be secure. Nobody wants to say, oh, yeah, no, I'm insecure, I love it. Nobody loves to be insecure.
Absolutely.
But you've got to be honest with yourself, correct?
Definitely. Honesty, awareness, work on yourself, raise your self-esteem. Look at what your greatest fear is, because our greatest fears are rooted in our intimate relationships. It comes up there. So, and look at and ask the deeper questions. What are my beliefs about relationships? How do I perceive the world? Do I perceive the world as trusting, as a safe place? Or am I distrusting and uncomfortable in the world?
And sometimes this is the work you can't do by yourself, right? This is the work that you need guidance in, and that's why we have people like you
Absolutely.
to help us dig into it.
We are going to continue the conversation shortly after this. What is your attachment style in relationships? Asha Dullabh is here today to help us discuss this, and we're taking your questions and comments via Facebook page and our studio line on 021 110 5552. So please do connect with us.